Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the DNS and multicasting. So DNS is nothing but domain name system and the multicasting. So before going to our lecture, as usual, the greatest sin is to think yourself weak. The greatest sin is to think yourself weak. It is said by the Swami Vivekananda. The greatest sin means we can say the crime. Okay, so thinking yourself as a weak, it is nothing but the biggest crime, as a said by the Swami Vivekananda. So feel yourself as a strong. Okay, you can do everything. So now go to the work. So today we are going to learn what is the DNS, what services does it provide, how does it operate, the message format and types of message, as well as the multicasting. Okay, in the latter part. So now what is the DNS? So DNS is a host name to IP address translation service. A DNS is a distributed database implemented in hierarchy of name servers, an application level protocol for a message exchange between client and server. Okay. Now why the DNS is required? Okay, in the previous slide we see what is the DNS. DNS is nothing but the host name to the IP address. I'm going to explain each and everything very properly. Okay, so I'm just giving the overview and just starting it. Now why DNS? So it is easier to remember a host name than it is to remember an IP address. A name has a more meaning to a user than a 4 bytes number. Applications such as FTP, HTTP, mail, etc. all require the user to input a destination. The user generally enter a hostname. The application takes the hostname supplied by the user and forward it to the DNS for a translation to an IP address. Okay, so this is all. This is what the DNS use. Now I am taking you a very simple example. Then you will understand what is the DNS. Suppose in our class, suppose there are 10 students, right? And I have given everyone is a number. Suppose there is Aniket and I have given the number 10 digit of number to the Aniket. Okay, suppose 4 5 5 8 9 9 7. Now again there is a Rohan, again Arti, Ria, Purva, Nikita, Supriya, everything, everyone I have given a number instead of a name. Okay, so I came into the class next day, and now I am calling you by the numbers. Suppose there is a 10 digit number. So it is possible or it is somehow difficult to remember me the number of each and everyone? Absolutely. There will be the very difficult, because I cannot remember the names, the number very easily. But instead of that, now your name is Aniket. Now I can easily understand or I can easily remember the name. So that is nothing but in the same, in our computing system or in internet, there is a domain name system. Okay, so how, suppose you are typing the www.google.com into the browser, what happen exactly? So there is a IP address assigned to the www.google.com. When you type the google.com, exactly in the background the IP address sent to that server, right? So I'm accessing the google.com, right? So for the sake of remember or sake of easiness of our human being, we have assigned the names to the IP addresses. So you know the IP address, there is IP4 and IPv4 and IPv6. Currently we are using the IPv4. So instead of remembering the IP address of each and every website, we are accessing that website by using the names. So it is easier to remember a host name. Okay, it is easier to remember the host name than it is remembered to an IP address, right? So this is what we are going to use this DNS. Now we are going to learn how this DNS is structured now. Okay, so can everyone can use a com. You can see sometimes there is a .com, .org, .edu, like the edu education. Okay, so why they have separated or how they can be differentiated? Now how does it works? So DNS work by message exchanging the message between the client and server machine. The client application will pass the destination host name to the DNS process in a Unix referred to as the, this is nothing but get host name, get host by name and a routine to get the IP address. This is nothing but the commands we can send. The application then sits and wait for the response to the return, right? So this is what it works on these three structures or process. Now you can see here the distributed or hierarchy of the database. Now you can see there is a root DNS server. First there is a root DNS server. So first is a com DNS server. Okay, so every website you can access by the .com, that is nothing but the com DNS server. So you can say the yahoo.com, amazon.com, these are nothing but the different DNS servers. Similarly, there is org DNS servers. So suppose there is any organization, the PBS organization or any companies, this can be accessed by the org. Now suppose there is a educational DNS servers. So suppose we are accessing www.vpmmp3.org, that is not a .com. Okay, so we that is nothing, sorry, that is our organization. Suppose you can accessing this using the organization, but you can say some of the educational institute having the uh, educational institute having that edu as a name, or you can say the database, so edu. So client want IP for for www.amazon.com. Okay, so how it can be accessed? So client queries a root server to find the com DNS server. First you can find the com DNS server. So suppose you want to access the www.amazon.com, first it goes to the where, com DNS server. Now client queries com DNS server to get amazon.com DNS server. Okay, so if then it goes to the Amazon DNS server. The client queries amazon.com DNS server to get a IP address for a www.amazon.com. So first where it goes to the DNS server, where exactly the IP address and that domain name server is present. So actually this is nothing but one of the server where exactly this server only stores the domain names and the IP addresses. Suppose www.google.com having something 128 point something, then amazon.com, so that one server only contain the IP addresses and domain name. So first when you request for the www.amazon.com, first it will go to the that DNS server. That DNS server find the IP address of that www.amazon.com, and then you will access the, then it will goes to the that Amazon server and you can access the information, right? So now you can see the geographically distributed of DNS root servers sites. There are different distribution of the DNS servers, root servers, like according to the countries. So Europe, North America, Asia, South Africa, Oceania, Africa and Middle East. So there is a distinguish of the DNS servers or DNS root servers according to our whole world. Now geographical distribution of internet users. Now how the internet users can be distributed over the world. So in Asia you can see in the yellow line, Europe in the blue, North America green, South America red, Africa again dark blue, Middle East some pink, and Oceania in somehow orange side. So this is nothing but the geographical distribution of internet users. Now we are going to exactly how the root name servers can be assigned. Now you can see the contracted by the, sorry, the contacted by the local name server that cannot resolve the name. Suppose you can send your request to the local name server. If he cannot resolve the name, then it contact the authorized name server if name mapping not known. Suppose there is in a local name server there is a if you don't know the that name server or name mapping is not present, then it contact the authorized name server. Then he gets the mapping and return mapping to the local name server. If you don't, suppose local name server don't know the mapping or he don't know the local IP address of that particular web server, then he send this data or request to the authorized name server, then he can access the information to the local. So you can see there are 30 root name server operators worldwide. This is nothing but the root name servers. These are operated almost in a 30 worldwide. So you can see here in the NASA, USC, ISI Marine, then Pipe London, Atomania, Wide Tokyo. So different locations it has a root name server is present. Now TLD and authoritative servers, these are present in different locations. Now I will explain what is the top level domain servers. It is responsible for com, org, net, edu, etc, and all top level countries domains like uk, fr, ca, jp. Okay, sometimes we access the website, sometimes there is a www.amazon.in and amazon.com. In means India, so there is having some like a country wise there is also the access of the servers. Now, authoritative DNS service. This organization DNS server providing the authoritative hostname to the IP mapping for organization servers like a web, mail, and it can be maintained by the organization or service providers. Okay, so you can sometime the web you can access by using the authoritative DNS servers. Now local name server, so it does not strictly belong to the hierarchy. So local name server, suppose in our college there is a local server, so you can access the data from that local server also. Each ISP means residential ISP company university has one. Suppose our college is having, that is having the local name server, it is called as the default name server. When host makes a DNS query, query is sent to its local DNS server, act as a proxy forward query in the hierarchy. So we know our college is having the proxy server, we can access the data from our local server. So we have made here the local name server. Now suppose there is a recursive, suppose I have a query like a DNS query, the client machine send a request to the local name server, which if he does not find the address in its database, right? Suppose I send the query to our VPN MPC server, or but it does not find the address in his database, send a request to the root name server, which in turn will route the query to an intermediate or authoritative name server. Note that if root name server can contain some hostname to IP address mapping, the intermediate name server always knows whose the authoritative name server is. Suppose I am sending the DNS request to the local server, and that local server is not having that hostname mapping, then it sent to the root local server, right? That how it can be happen, that I will show by using the diagram here. Now just a minute. Suppose they have shown here, suppose host at a cispoly.ug. Suppose this is nothing but what host. I'm sitting here and I want to access this website. Suppose this is nothing but what giai.cs.umass.edu. I want to access this website. Now how it can be happen? So first it will go to the local DNS server, that is nothing but the suppose DNS poly.education. So this is first goes, suppose this is not having the mapping of that address, then it goes to the root DNS server. Then this root DNS servers find the mapping, and then it send the request to the TLD DNS server. This TLD DNS server again send this data or request to the authoritative DNS server, and then this authoritative DNS servers again contacted, and again this goes back to the host. So whatever the data here, it will access through the host by requesting the command. Puts burden of the name resolution on a contacted root name server. Okay, so it has a heavy load, so it goes to the root DNS server all the time, because everyone, suppose this is a single person, so every time you can access through this root DNS server. Now another query, suppose it is iterative, the local server queries the root server if the address is, if address not in its database, will have the name address of an intermediate or authoritative name server and forward that information to the local name server, so that it can directly communicate with the intermediate or authoritative name server. This is to prevent the overloading of the root server that handle the millions of requests. So in the previous slide you can see every host can be access this website or data through the root local address, root DNS server, but there is a millions of people can access the same time, so there will be a lot of overloading. So for avoiding that, we are taking this iterative function method. So you can see the DNS name resolution example. For we are accessing the same, suppose host this cs poly, just a minute, suppose this cs poly.ug, the host name, you want to access this IP address for this. Okay, now you can access, now you can see it request for this local DNS server. Now this local DNS servers broadcast this message to the whole, or we can say all systems like TLD, root name server, and authoritative DNS server. So there is not a step followed by like this local DNS server, then a root a DNS server, then TLD DNS server, and then authoritative DNS server. So everyone has to take the this path. But in this method, this is not required. You can, this requesting host can directly go to the local DNS server, and it can directly access or directly broadcast this request to the each and every. So this request can be received from the this DNS server, and you can access it website. So there is overloading can be avoided. Now the DNS data is stored in the database in the form of resource record. The RR are directly inserted into the DNS message. This RR are nothing but a 4 tuples that consist of name, value, type, and TTL, that I will show you. So how this is RR records be present. Suppose this RR format is nothing but name, value, type, and TTL. So in type A there are 4 types. In type A, name is a host name and value is a IP address. So likewise this is nothing but DNS. This can be, this record is stored on a database. How it can be stored? Okay, so in your mind, how it comes that there is a DNS server and how the data is stored. So this data is, or records can be stored in this format. So first type is nothing but name and values. So name is nothing but what? Suppose www.google.com. In first column there is only names, in another column there is the IP address. Okay, first www.google.com, and the address is suppose IP address is 128.168 point something and dot 22.3. So likewise all the websites can be stored. So another format is type ENS. In domain example foo.com. So that is nothing but the domain name, and value is a host name of authoritative name server for this domain. Okay, now type CNAME, the alias name for some canonical. The real name, example www.ibm.com, is really serverist or backup to .ibm.com. So it is a saved like this, and value is canonical name. Now the time MX, so value is name of, so here, so value is the name of a Milli server associated with the name. So these are different records. It can be stored at the DNS. Okay, so DNS provide the mechanism for maintaining the user friendliness of the internet by hiding the some of the operational details, and DNS server have to be created manually. Recently an updated protocol was introduced that allow the DNS to exchange data for additions and deletions. Okay, so for the is the friendliness of the user, so you can easily access the names. Now IP multicasting. In this multicasting, nothing but what? Multicast the communication refer to one to many or many to many communication. So there is a unicast. Unicast means suppose single person can send the data to only single person. So that is nothing but unicast. Now the broadcast. The broadcast is nothing but, suppose I'm talking to you. Suppose you are sitting in the classroom and I'm talking to you. So this is nothing but broadcast the message, so everyone can listen the message. So this is in the computer system. There is also, suppose I can send one packet, so it can received by the all receivers. Similarly here multicast means only for the few. Suppose for the selected one, suppose I want to send the this message only of the out of 4 only 2, that is nothing but the multicast. Now multicasting over the packet network. Okay, the multicast without support for the multicast at the network layer. Suppose multicast copies of the same message is transmitted on the same link. Okay, suppose this is what I am sitting here, and I want to send the message to the different different people. These are sitting at the different location, so I can sending this data through this link and this link. So this is nothing but multiple copies of the same message I'm sending to the different locations. Now multicast over the packet network, so it required the set of mechanism. The packet forwarding can send multiple copies of the same packet, and multicast routing algorithm which build the spanning tree, okay, dynamically. So how, suppose I want to send the data, suppose I'm sitting here and I want to send the message. So I can take the packet forwarding can send multiple copies of same packet, so it can send the data through the different locations. Okay, now semantic of IP multicast. If multicast work as follows: the multicast groups are identify the IP addresses in the range of 224.0.0 to 239.255.255.255. That is nothing but the class D addresses. So in the coming lectures I will show you how the IP address can be built, or how there are different classes A, B, C, D and E. There are few classes. Every host more precisely interface can join and leave the multicast group dynamically. Okay, so the IP multiclass service is unreliable, so it cannot be sure that the data will be received. Okay, this is nothing but the unreliable. So these are nothing but the type of multicast addresses. The range of address between 224.0.0.0 and 244.0.255 inclusive is a reverse for the use of routing protocol and other low level topology discovery or maintenance of the protocol. So you can what, this is nothing but use. So example of this special class, reserve class D address, all system on the subnet, this is number 224001. Then all routers on the subnet 224.0.0.02, and NTP, that is network time protocol, that is 224.0.1.1, and RIP, this is nothing but routing protocol, this is nothing but 224.0.0.9. Okay, so might be you will not understand this addressing right now, but when we are going to exactly learn the IP addressing, then you come to know the exact IP addressing, their classes, subnetting, okay, classless, classful addressing. Okay, in the coming lectures we are going to learn all these things. This is how only the overview of the DNS server. So thank you very much for today's lecture.